So, good evening, everyone. My name is Manish Bhatia, and I am the founder of the Trainer Network TNW, who's been organizing wonderful topics for the last couple of weeks. We did a lot of insightful discussions in the last few weeks, and today the topic that we have chosen is understanding gender bias in everyday life. And I am no expert to say anything on this, but we have our guests here, Dr. Aparna Sethi and Shruti Swaroop. Let us welcome both of them to have a very wonderful and insightful conversation about this probably a sensitive topic or a controversial one maybe, or maybe it lacks a lot of lacks understanding and awareness. So we are very hopeful that we can have a good understanding of this subject from Dr. Aparna Sethi and Shruti. Dr. Aparna is the founder of ProTouch Services, a consulting company and a corporate training company. Dr. Aparna, you will have to introduce yourself more onto it, but let me just go to Shruti. Shruti is the founder of Embrace, a diversity and inclusion coach as well, and they both are working tirelessly, I know that, on the topic of gender bias in the industry as well as in the everyday life. That is why we have chosen. Dr. Aparna, over to you, please.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Manish. I'm glad we have made it. And nice meeting you, Shruti, after a long time. Very good evening to all the participants. Really appreciate you coming on before time, rather. And my introduction is very small. It is 1 took a 4 and 4 took a 1. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean to say I have stayed in 4 states, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Delhi, and now settled in Haryana. I've got 4 degrees. Sometimes I do tend to forget that I did my MBA in marketing, HR, and then I did my MPhil and PhD. 1 2 ka 4. So 2 is I worked in 2 functions. That is career started with sales and ended in HR. So my first love is always sales and married to HR, having great rocking life. I've written 2 books, Where to Draw the Line, Complicated Relationships at Workplace. It is not the bestseller because it is made for niche readers, where many sexual harassment cases I have covered, 10 sexual harassment cases I have covered, and I have tried to explain the dynamics around POSH Act. And second is art of online presentation. So that is my lockdown story. When the lockdown began, I published my book. And one, yes, I have 1 husband, I have 1 son. So that is about me. Lovely meeting you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aparna. Thanks a lot. Shruti, please.
Thank you so much, Manish. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Aparna, for being with me on this topic, which is, I know, very, very dear to both of us. Thank you, everybody, for making it here, for everyone who's logged in and hearing us, taking out time on a working day. So thank you. About me, I don't know where to start. I come from an army background, so have traveled across the country. Also have had the pleasure of traveling across 38 countries worldwide, and finally settled here in Gurgaon. And this is my home now for the last 10 years. I love meeting people. I love traveling, as you can make out by the number of countries I've traveled. In terms of my passion, I think it is what I'm doing right now, which is trying to make an impact, trying to make a difference. A very, very emotional and sensitive person. So I do things with a lot of emotion, with a lot of passion, as I said. Actively involved in, as I said, making a difference, and bias, inclusion, those are areas which I really focus on. So that's about me.
Thank you so much, Shruti. for this wonderful introduction from both of you. Aparna, straight away into the conversation. I have one question for you. I was very eager to ask you this question, okay, because this is very pertinent in my research as far as I go, okay.
Mhm.
Now, gender bias, is often categorized into two main categories: foreground, what we actually see, and the background, what we don't see at all, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, what do you think? Background? Do you think that background is responsible for this foreground behavior? And if yes, how?
Excellent question, I will say.
Thank you.
And let's look at the psychology part of it.
Sure.
Okay, how human brain works. That is very important. What I personally feel, right? Let's do one activity, Manish. You are there on camera. Bring your hand like this. Those who are off camera, they can also bring it like this,
Okay.
Manish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. And keep it on your chin. Keep it on your chin.
Chin or cheek?
Chin.
Chin. Okay.
Getting my point? Keep
Yeah.
it on your chin. What happens maximum time here is, we always do what we see.
Yeah.
What human mind, whether it's a men, women, transgender, anyone.
Hmm.
I do not have much idea about animals, but human mind works in a pictorial format, and they believe in what they see. No matter what is it taught to them, no matter what is, whatever we give them lectures or whatever in the books, it will never happen. A baby never takes a textbook in the hand and get educated.
Interesting.
A baby always looks what is happening around. So what are the pictures? That makes a huge difference. What your baby is seeing. Another thing, when human beings start growing from baby to maybe, the adulthood and school and everything, we get into a very important disease, a disease of plot. What is that? If I behave in a certain way, I get a plot. And if I behave in a certain way, I don't get a plot.
Yeah.
Right? And then they get introduced to two words, and that is called a manly behavior and a girly behavior. Okay? Manly behavior or girly behavior is so close to our heart, sometimes it becomes so important for even our existence.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And hence, no matter whatever we will train people on, what do they see? Because human beings are social animals and they cannot work in an isolated way. So they need that acceptance, and for that acceptance to get, to fit in, we
Yeah.
change our behaviors. Sometimes we may also go through that cognitive, congruence. We go through that internal conflict that, hey, I'm not agreeing, but still you will behave in a certain way because what you see.
Correct.
And that is the reason why we always say, background and all is fine, what you are saying. But what is it that we see? So even though I train on gender equality and all, what is my son is learning? What is my child is learning?
Absolutely right. Yeah.
It is what is we see. So that is my take on this.
Wonderful, wonderful. This was an excellent insight actually. Babies, you give the example that you gave of babies was actually a real life example. This is what exactly happens. Shruti, do you have to add something to what Aparna just mentioned?
Yes, it's interesting. We've been the entire program today is about bias.
Yeah.
And so on a, drawing on what and following up on what Aparna mentioned, the brain gets about 11 million pieces of information on any given day. It's practically not possible for the brain to process every information the way it is. And hence, what we form in the brain are actually shortcuts, which we call bias. And
Okay.
that bias is actually built on exactly how Aparna said, on what we see.
Hmm.
So how am I going to form those shortcuts? I will form those shortcuts based on what I'm seeing around me. So, and it's a reverse of what the question that you asked. What
Hmm.
I see around me is actually forming the background of how I will behave.
Absolutely. Yes.
And it is formed in the first 7 to 10 years of any person's life.
Okay.
Those are the formative years of any person. So in that 7-10 years, whatever I see around myself becomes the background, becomes the mental makeup. So that is what we carry, because we need shortcuts. We need shortcuts to process. I cannot practically process everything that's happening around me. So once we are in that age where we are doing decision making, we are 13, we are 15, we have to decide on our career choices, we have to decide on our partners later on in life. It all starts falling on that, the background, the mental makeup which is formed, and that is basis what we see. So exactly how Parna is saying, we see, we form, we build on top of that, and we further build on top of that. So by the time we are in our young adulthood, early 20s, late 18, late teens, we've already formed it. It's there. So that's the answer to your question, at least my take on it.
Absolutely, because it's the mindset, it's the conditioning, or it's the upbringing also that matters a lot, and that is probably when I researched about this topic, that is probably what I thought of as the background. That the background is your upbringing, your environment, your parents, your teachers, and you people you meet. And you rightly said that the first 7 to 10 years are the ones where we form so much of mindset. The mindset is cultivated, and there is a lot of benchmark that we set according to the society norms or whatever we see. But this is what I felt about was the background to the foreground that we actually see today. So that is what perfect. That is wonderful insight. So now, Shruti, tell me, is gender bias or can gender bias be called as a discrimination in daily life? I mean, if it is, then what are the common examples of discrimination?
Let me give you a little bit of data, and I've written it down,
Yeah.
and that'll help. There was a research that was done by Judith Gonzalez in 2019 that shows that the perception of men of the word bias or discrimination is different from the perception of women.
Okay.
There's another study that said that, and this was done by UNDP, United Nations Development Program, which works on the Gender Social Norms Index. This was done in 2019, which said that both men and women feel that women are biased against, and that men get more opportunities. Okay. Now, the reason I brought this data out, and there's far more data, and we'll come to that later, is because there is bias and there is discrimination, and it's very, very simple. The moment you make a car which has seating preferences for men, which has headrest positions for men, that is discrimination. And because of that, by the way, the same research that we just spoke about, the UNDP research says women are 47% more likely to have car accidents, because cars are not manufactured for women.
Okay.
Because chairs are not manufactured for women. The ideal way we make chairs, the one that I'm sitting on or you're sitting on, is made for a man's physique.
Oh, is that?
The testing that we do on for medicines, even COVID testing, whatever, any testing we do for medicines is actually done on male animals.
Okay.
So, we are talking about discrimination. It's everywhere.
Yes.
It's everywhere. We have all been through a lockdown, and it's just going through right now. Globally, it's happening, when lockdown happened, everyone spoke about what women are going through, right? Did anybody do anything?
No.
There were tons of example about how the world is, becoming far more difficult. And when you spoke about how men are being, I mean, there were conversations about how someone's husband is involved in the day-to-day activities. I was like, okay, why is that news? As much of his house.
Yes. Yeah.
We are talking about discrimination. Marissa Mayer, she talks about this wonderful example. She says, I went to this offsite where, there were all other CEOs. And someone asked me, oh, you're here for a weekend offsite. Who's taking care of your children? And she said, I looked at that man in his eye and I said, I didn't ask you who's taking care of your children.
Yeah.
But you have to ask me.
Yeah.
So it's these are examples. These are everyday examples. You go to a girl's house for a birthday. I plan birthday parties, and when I go to someone's birthday party for children who have girl children, what are the gifts we are thinking of? Am I thinking of the same gift that I'd give to another boy child who's 10 years old, or will I give something which is like a doll or something which is more girlish?
Yeah.
So it's in the gifts we are giving to children. So it's amazing how it's so ingrained into our system that even pointing it out sometimes is like, oh wow.
Yeah, exactly, Shruti. What you mentioned about the chair thing, okay, whether it is the chair that we are sitting right now, or the car chair, the headrest, and you mentioned all that. I think for me personally, that is the news. Seriously. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you brought this data up. But Aparna, what Shruti just mentioned is the discrimination in the everyday life. And that means that, in today's world also, because she brought the study of 2019, which was last year kind of, okay? In today's world, when we have evolved so much, the gender-based inequalities are still prevalent. So what needs to be done on that, Aparna? What can we do all about it?
Before we move forward, I would like to add something to what Shruti said. Discrimination and bias. In that, there is a thin line. There are two things which I would like to bring it to your notice. One, we consider discrimination what we see. Right. Whatever goes in opposite direction of your policy and law, we say that is discrimination. Okay. If you are doing purposely because you are a woman, because you are a man, because you are a transgender, because you are a gay, what decisions we are making knowingly, that is our conscious decision, and that is discrimination.
Yes.
But the worst part of it, the hidden part of it, sometimes we become unconsciously biased.
True.
And figuring out those biases, even women don't know, even men don't know that they are getting biased.
Yeah.
In that also the discrimination can happen, and people can, or anyone can raise a alarm or red flag for that. But when my hiring, firing, promotion, giving me a role gets impacted because of my gender, then it is a discrimination.
Absolutely.
And as you mentioned, like, society and all, these are social agents.
Correct.
Social agents like teachers, parents, and media plays a major role in this.
Absolutely.
Right? For example, please tell me, do you have a single car advertisement in which a lady is driving a car?
I haven't seen that probably, yes.
Manish, most important part in this, forget about men and women. Think from business perspective. Yeah. You are losing out 50% market share there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
Just because of your unconscious biases.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right? So if the companies and corporates work on these unconscious biases, they can have more business. They can have more market share. So that is what I would like to mention.
But
yes.
But then, okay, you mentioned this. So I'm sure, if not all, some of the corporates or the production houses would be aware of this fact already,
Absolutely.
right? But
Absolutely.
why are they still not doing it? Why I haven't seen any car being driven, a car advertisement being driven by a woman? I'm still seeing
Absolutely.
men around there.
Companies are realizing, Manish, and companies are taking a lot of efforts for it. But where it is happening, see, in India, the scenario of diversity, inclusion, gender sensitization has come around 2014 and 2015.
Okay,
So we are still new for
very,
all
very,
this.
very, very primitive.
Okay. So very important, many Indian companies are having MSW approach. What do I mean by that? M is mandatory because there are laws coming. That's why companies are taking action.
Sure.
Okay. If I get, there is a W, last is W. W is want. What is it that I want? I want profit. If I have transgender, if I have women, if I have, then I get profit.
Mhm.
So want. But very important, MS is social responsibility. How many of you even think, why are we even discussing this? It's a fundamental basic right to
Correct.
get equal opportunities. Why do I have to justify how it is going to benefit to business?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So many companies are taking actions. But what I personally feel, many companies, if you see, I work on policy makings and all everything, right? You may have a policy, but
Mm,
is there a change here?
Exactly, exactly.
Policies can be policies, but that is what we say. We all need to have something called hashtag it's up to me.
You're right. Absolutely, absolutely.
Until and unless if I'm not taking the responsibility to bring a change. See, we keep on saying government is bad, Indian culture is worse. अरे छोटे गांव में ऐसा, बड़े शहरों में ऐसा. We are into blaming mode.
Correct.
When are we going to say it's up to me?
Mm.
I want to take responsibility, may it be men or women. And I've got one word to bring a change, and that is called ASAP.
Say
What
again.
is ASAP?
AS.
ASAP. ASAP.
Okay, yeah.
What is ASAP is all about?
Mm.
ASAP is first, A stands for acknowledge this happened.
Yeah, true.
Let's not be in that world. अरे ये सिर्फ दिमाग में है. ये एक नया कुछ चल रहा है. No. First, acknowledge if there is a global level data is there in front of you, and still if you're not acknowledging, then that's the biggest blind spot you have.
Correct.
So first of all, acknowledge that you have. We need to work on it. There is a bias happens, unconsciously happens. Right. Second is S, and S stands for start taking steps.
Yeah. True.
Start taking steps in your own control, whatever it is, at home, in society, in corporates, everywhere. Can you take some steps? For example, I was just watching someone's presentation one day about career transition, and in that there was one slide, in career transition, what are the problems comes? And then there was education, there was companies, there was kids, and there was wife. I just could not keep myself quiet. How wife can be the problem? What is in my capacity? Can I, without fighting, just make people aware that, hey, you need to work on it? Do you really think so? I don't want to fight, because please understand, we are going through a transition. There are certain things are natural, right? So take steps. Third very important thing is this: become the ambassador. Become ambassador. You need to become the ambassador of gender neutrality. I'm not talking about women are facing challenges and men are facing challenges. Yes, both are facing challenges. Currently, women are facing more challenge. But in that, let's not go to extremes. That after 20 years, we will have a slogan called Beta Bachao, Beta Padhao. No, crime is crime. Mistake is mistake. Who has done it? Need to get same support, need to get some equal treatment to this. So become the ambassador for it. And very important last is programming. That is challenge your programming. When we see the picture, our unconscious biases starts coming out. Hey, what is she wearing? Hey, what is weight? How is she talking? Oh, so what? So what? Just ask this question to ourselves, because measurement of women performance is completely different.
Right.
And there are many case studies available, and Facebook, Google is also not, they are not exception for this. They're also working on it.
Sure. Sure.
And that is why we say, can we take ASAP?
Absolutely, absolutely wonderful, wonderful. I think this is. I learned very new things today, and if I am at the liberty to make a small change onto this definition, okay, the S you said steps, I would make it small step.
Oh, wow, why not? Baby steps. Baby steps.
Baby.
See,
Yes.
Manish, I have a question for everyone here. Do you think people like, or women like Shruti, me, sitting here because of our competence?
Because
Our
of
competence and our efforts?
okay, let
That is the
everyone.
question. Let's not forget, even education was not having the right. We were not having the right of education. We fought for it. My nanny in 1940, she started working. I saw her working. Then my mother worked. And for me, it was not a new thing. Generations are working for this.
Correct. Correct.
So let's take baby steps. And when the history will be written, and that is the time we will be saying that person like Manish who created such a platform where people started discussing and the change has come.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. Yes, it is absolutely right, Aparna, that small steps go a longer way. Actually, you have to start somewhere. Initiative is something that one needs to take, and that is how you own something, right? Owning the responsibility. Shruti, you are a diversity and inclusion coach. Okay, so what do you think are the roles and responsibilities of you? Do you think what Aparna just mentioned about the organizations, you think that training is very important for the organizations, considering the fact that we started evolving around 2014-15 only? It's been just 5 years.
I'm glad you brought in the question, because we are talking about organizations here, and let's also understand that yes, organizations are doing their bit, but what is the bit that they're doing? So there are some organizations. There was about 3-4 years back, there was an entire project that was done between Jindal Steel and United Nations, where they brought in a lot of women at a factory level, where there were steel utensils being made, where women were brought in to design those utensils. And we saw productivity going up. We saw work performance going up, because women were able to bring in products which were more likely to be used and which were more user friendly, because ultimately the people using those steel utensils were women in the households. There are a lot of other organizations who are actually bringing in women at the testing level in their research department, so that they can get the right white goods done. So yes, organizations are doing that. There are a lot of organizations that are bringing in women to understand what are the sensitivities involved. So there is some work being done. On the other side, there are also some organizations. Again, I will not take names here. There's some organizations, when I sit with them across the table and we are speaking about work, they're like, we don't need to have a gender sensitization program. Why don't you need one? No, we are very, very happy. We have work at the mines, we have work at our factories. We don't have as many women. We don't need women. And then you tell them that, excuse me, by the way, Supreme Court has allowed women in mines. Yeah. So why do you not have women in your mines? The Supreme Court in 2019 declared that women can now work underground with certain conditions attached. Like you can only have, minimum of 3 women. They have to work only during daytime or night hours. And so there is a proper ruling there. Yet you will have certain organizations being very close. No, we do not need women. We are very happy with the with the men that we have. So they are close to even programs on gender sensitization. I have also seen very, very big Indian conglomerate, which is headed by a lady. Um, and we were in a board meeting where she struggled to have her word. She's the one who runs the show. Yet, people who were having their say in a board meeting were actually those 3-4 men who are like, uh, from my father-in-law's side, they have run down generations. So they are running the show in a board meeting, and she's quiet. And I was like, wow, sitting in a board meeting, you head a 6,000 crore organization, yet you have no say. And she was finally able to talk when these 4 men left the boardroom. They said, okay, the meeting is over, we are going. Then she said, Shruti, I need to speak to you. And I was like, wow. Imagine the distance we have to cover.
Absolutely.
If the lady heading a 6,000 crore organization is struggling to have a word in a board meeting. And I was like, that is a huge distance to be covered. So are organizations doing something? Yes, there are many organizations which are doing something. There is lots that needs to be done. I work with organizations on setting policies for DNI. I work with organizations on doing programs on gender bias. Is only training important? I don't think so. Because, Aparna had mentioned some time back, there is a lot of cognitive diversity which is there. And we need to have cognitive inclusion for that.
Correct. True.
We all think differently, but to be able to accept that me and Manish will think different, and it's okay to have different point of views, and it's okay to accept people for who they are. It's a huge distance to be traveled, and that will take a lot of time.
Lot of time.
I would like to replace the word accept to appreciation, because acceptance comes with mandate and compulsion. So instead of acceptance, can we appreciate each other's perspective? I think that's very important.
Absolutely. And Aparna, a little while back, you were talking about awareness as part of your ASAP. And I'm like, even in this crowd of, we are just 26 of us, including the 3 of us here. How many of us are really aware of our biases? How many of us are really aware that we are possibly somewhere knowingly, unknowingly creating our own system of bias, a circle of bias? If I ask everyone sitting here to create a list of 10 friends they are in touch with, and I say, write down the gender of each of these friends, or write down the age, or write down the background of each of these friends, you will find there will be such a lot of pattern out there. And I say the moment there is a pattern, whether in the gender or the age or the background, there is a bias. And it's up to you to figure out why is there that pattern.
It's up to me. It's up to me.
It's up to me. It's each one of us.
Absolutely. See, if we look at one side of it, yes, companies are doing their bit. Having said that, there are many practical challenges. Like, for example, there are few positions are kept. Companies want to hire women, but they are not getting. For example, especially after 35 to 45, getting women employees with a traveling job and all becomes very tough. They are not, women themselves reject the promotions because of family responsibility. The supply of educated women in India is the least.
Yes.
Because we do not send women to schools, and Anganwadi and all things are working to great extent. But once you will see, after 5th standard, 8th standard, 10th standard, there is a huge drop. And if you want to work at workplace, you need a basic education. And if I'm not getting education, how will I get opportunity? And if I don't get opportunity to work, how my finances will be done? And if I don't have finances, how you can empower women? So these are the things. Career breaks is another thing women, we all need to work on. Right? Most of the time we do go on breaks, and it is absolutely all right. Go on break without a guilt, because that's a gift which we have received.
Correct. Absolutely.
But when we want to come back, prepare for comeback. Required skill, required network, need to be updated so that companies will absorb us. Companies cannot absorb without talent and skill. They cannot hire only because you're a woman. And
Correct.
if they are doing it, then there is another bias we are creating.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Aparna. I think this is very true. And you, both of you mentioned some of the policies that have been written, and it is all written in black and white. But the key is the execution, right? I mean, it can be written in the policies. I also know because I work for in the equity sector also, wherein when I was doing this equity thing, I heard that it was made mandatory by Supreme Court to have at least one women director in the organization.
That's a mandate.
Right? It's mandate, right? But again, it is a policy decision, right? Probably not to take the perspective of a woman, a fellow woman colleague, right? As Shruti also mentioned, that a lady, a female heading a 6,000 crore company, but has no say, absolutely no say in the boardroom meeting, right? So I mean, it is only written in black and white policies and all that. But when Shruti mentioned 6,000 crore rupees headed by a woman, Aparna, I'll ask you another thing which is common in all the organizations, probably. At least I've seen that. Most of the time it is observed that the office receptionist is a female.
Hmm.
Is this a discrimination against men, or I remove this part against men? But is this a discrimination? Even the companies led by women, as Shruti mentioned, probably would have a female receptionist. Why
What do you think?
do we always do that?
Why do we have always a men gym instructor?
Correct, true.
Why, I have a question for you. So what we are saying is, this is the over a period, for example, I'll tell you, when I was in my university job, I was having, some guest session. So while that in particular event, I said, this time my boys or male students will give away bouquets, will do Saraswati Vandana, will give vote of thanks. And I said, women will do some other jobs. Now, what is happening here is, male students ask me, Madam, what is it that we will get? I said, you will get 2 days attendance, because as a teacher, you can use that weapon. And you know what is that they said? Madam, nahi chahiye. We don't want, because there are some perceived gendered roles.
Yeah.
Okay, gendered roles, and that is where it is okay to have receptionists. What are the skill set which are required?
Correct.
See, look at the JD. You want a pleasing personality. So what is pleasing personality? What is the definition of pleasing personality? Men can also have, but women can also have. Please understand the local culture. First, local, you can say family culture, social culture goes to corporate culture and impact. If I get to hear लड़कियां अच्छी रहती है, रौनक लगाती है, तो वो ऑफिस में भी रौनक ही लगाएगी.
Correct.
Getting my point? So women also aspire to become the same thing because it is conditioning. Let's not talk about job of reception, Manish. I would like to bring it to your notice something very, very eye-opening fact about gender roles.
Yeah.
Now, as per the McKinsey report, 800 million jobs are going to get replaced. One, okay? All the jobs are going to get replaced where you need education on science, maths, engineering, and technology. Okay? That is what is going to happen by 2030. And as per the report, they have their own doubts. You know what? The gender gap will increase. You know why? Because when it comes to technology, we think men are better at it. When we think about analytical skills, we think men are better at it. Better. Am I making sense? And that is where we may see the gap increasing than decreasing. Yes. So what is the attitude we have towards gendered role is going to have a severe impact. And where it starts, microwave is not working, let your father come, we will talk to him. TV is not working, let your father come, we will talk to him. Somewhere we also need to go ahead and challenge that.
Right.
Because we, just see gender, the attitude, the perception of roles are going to have a severe impact in, in coming days.
Absolutely.
Now, picture is optimistic. Picture is optimistic, but we may have to struggle twice than men.
Yeah. So what you're basically saying is that yes, it will take some time to bring into that level, but it is again what I understood from you is that it may be difficult, but it is not impossible.
What I personally feel, when you are hiring, let's not look at gender, let's look at competence.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Don't hire me because I'm a man, and don't hire me because I'm a woman.
Okay, correct.
Hire me because of my competence and skill which I bring it to table.
Yes.
In fact, many companies, especially MNCs companies, are working on their recruitment strategies. Like, for example, when the selection committee or the recruiters gets their resume, they remove unnecessary data. They don't need to need my name. They
Okay.
really don't need to know my gender or sex, because fundamentally there is a difference.
Yeah.
They don't need to know I'm from which university. Oh, you're from IIM, you're from IIT, you're everything. See, your brain segregate the information, tuck, 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 in a fraction of a second. In that, you may lose a good talent, right? Because this is where our biasness comes into the picture.
True.
And you need to use a lot of technology, AI, to remove this kind of thing. How your JDs are written, when it is a CEO, people write, he should be doing this, he should be doing that. Why?
Absolutely.
Question.
No. I think this is absolutely eye-opening, not only for me, but for the people who are listening here, and other maybe hundreds of people who are watching it on different channels. I think it is an eye-opener, and we should start thinking about it.
And for example, when we talk about roles, gender roles, and which starts from your house, it can be cooking. Cooking is for women. Maybe office is for men. And in that, what is happening now, women have started giving up their cooking and saying, I'm not like that. Please understand, cooking is a life skill. And what is our strength? We should not give away. Keep our strength and whatever skills, other skills are required, keep doing. Otherwise, we are creating another gender. I'm not like that.
I know what you're saying.
And it's very interesting we are talking about this, Manish, because in that attempt to go out there and be seen as, yes, I can do other roles as well. Like Aparna said, giving up cooking because I am not like that. We could potentially be creating a bigger issue here. And I always say this, too much inclusion actually leads to exclusion. So when you're continuously harping on, women need this, women need that, you're actually excluding that entire gender out. So we need to, when we are working with organizations, when we are working in the overall to create equality, and let's not forget that an organization is a representation of the society, because it's the same set of people, it's not like different set of people. So when you're working with organizations, we need to ensure that we are trying to create that balance between how women look at a particular role and how men look at a particular role. And your question about who does a secretary or gym instructors being only men, the point is that we need to understand that no role is actually specific or cannot be specific to a gender.
So Aparna, what I think Aparna rightly mentioned that it should be competence based. You check my competence against the other person. On a scale of 10, you find me where I am competitive, where the other person is competitive, and then decide. Skill based. So it should not be gender based. Yeah.
One thing, at workplace, my sex doesn't matter.
Correct.
Sex matters only at two places. While having while making a love, and while delivering the babies. And I don't have to do these both things at workplace.
Correct. Absolutely.
Right. So what matters is my is my competence.
Competency,
Now,
yeah.
for example, even for the way women have gone through the evolution curve, in the similar way transgender and LGBT community is going through.
Yes, ma'am.
So why can't we do it right now?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we do this right now? My physiology doesn't matter at workplace.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
now there will be another evolution to revolution will be there for transgenders and LGBT. Let's take a charge right now. Let's talk about human beings.
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, somebody yesterday mentioned on one of my posts on LinkedIn that, instead of talking about gender bias, talk about human bias.
Absolutely.
Shruti, did you read that?
Yes, I did. And I was like, it was so heartening to see that, because it is what it is. You know, every time we are talking about bias against women, we are also talking about bias to some extent against men as well. Because I'm putting that extra pressure on the man on the other side, saying that, because women cannot do this, you will have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of my coaches, by the way, who are not working.
Okay.
They are men and they are not working.
Mm.
And one of the things, and there are three of those, and one of the things which is common between all the three coaches is like, there is so much pressure because I am not the breadwinner, because I am not bringing money into the house, because it's my wife who's running the show.
Yeah.
So, there is also reverse. So when we're talking about bias, we're talking about women, we're talking about men, we're talking about transgenders. The point is, it is a bias. So every time you talk about women, you're also putting extra pressure on the other gender. And
Correct.
one must not forget that we are putting unnecessary pressure on everybody in this entire thing. So we need to make it more, when we talk about equality and inequality, I think it's about everyone should get opportunities. We talk about feminism, it's about opportunity.
Right.
Let people, and how Aparna has been saying continuously, it is about competency. It doesn't matter. It's a man, woman, transgender, whoever. Let people be given opportunities based on what they bring to the table. And as I was saying, organizations are a representation of the society we live in. Let's start from our home. Let's start from the boys in our houses. Let's start from our brothers, our sons. Let's make that change.
Correct.
And it's a very small thing, when my son comes and says, Mom, it's my friend's birthday, I want to give her a Barbie doll. I'm like, give her a mechanics. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why a Barbie doll?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. Let's start it from where we are. This is the area where I have the most impact and control. And Aparna is smiling.
Because I feel if someone loves Barbie dolls, there is nothing wrong about it. Only thing is this, it has to be the choice. It should not be the mandate. Getting my point. If I want to become a housewife, I want to look after my child, I don't want to work, it is okay. And that should be my choice. Empowerment is nothing to do with roles. Empowerment is making my choice and being happy in that, and not getting into the judgmental window. So that is very important.
Right.
That is what I personally feel.
And humans judge all the time, whether we agree or we don't. We judge all the time, every second of it.
So that is the time when your mind get into auto mode, put it in a manual mode.
Yes.
And say, that I said, these two words are magical. So what? So what? A man is a short-heighted. So what? A CEO has got a very, thin voice. So what? A girl is a dark. So what? A man is crying in the boardroom. So what? It is okay. And it is an extra pressure on men. They need to be strong. They need to tall, dark, handsome. They need to be everything. I think there are huge biases. And that is that they are not ready to express their emotions, because that shows girly behavior. And they are having the heart attack rates highest amongst men.
Correct. Absolutely.
High time we all should change.
Yeah, true. So let us, we were talking about being judgmental and all that. I have one judgmental question, okay? Shruti, hear me out, okay? This is something which I thought I should ask you, okay? Most of the times, I have read it also. if a husband needs to invite his friends over for a dinner, let's say dinner, he doesn't necessarily ask his wife for the permission. Not necessarily. No, I mentioned in the beginning it is a judgmental question, so don't react right now.
Okay, go for it.
But it is not necessarily true for women. You know, when women have to invite their friends over, why do they have to ask the permission of their husband? What is your response to that? Is it true, first of all? Is it judgmental? Is it biased? What is it?
Firstly, it's not true at my house. I can speak about my house.
Okay.
So I can't speak about anybody else's house. Secondly, if it is true in the context of the society we're living in, most of us have gotten married as per what we call the Sanatan Dharma, right? It's very interesting. I have to take you to this.
Please.
When we get married, there are these 7 vachans we do, right? The vows we do. One of the vows actually is that a lady can't call anybody else into the house without the permission of her husband. And she's supposed to say yes to that before she can, before the couple gets married.
Yeah.
Right? You remember it, right? From like many decades back when you got married.
Yeah.
So, good question that you've asked. I personally think it should not be there. It's not there in my household. I think both parties should have equal rights. Having said that, I know in a lot of places where both men and women ask, and both men and women have equal rights of calling people at home. But I also know equal number of houses where certain person has the ability and certain person does not have the ability, and each to his own. I do not have the right to speak of anyone else's personal situation.
But what is the right thing? I mean, what you're saying is
I'm smiling, so I'm sure she has a point.
Aparna, okay, over to you now.
You were saying something, Manish.
No, I was only asking that, what do you think? If it is not happening in your house, do you really think that it should actually be happening at everyone's place? Do you feel so?
Each to his own. I am nobody to comment on a personal relationship.
Of course, each to his own. But what I'm saying is the ideal scenario. I'm just taking your opinion. I'm not quoting you on that, but I'm just taking your opinion.
We are talking about equality here. So yes, why not? If I have the right to call people, then everybody else should have the right to call people, whoever they want as well, including my children.
Yeah, true. Exactly. It goes down to children as well. Yeah. Aparna, you want to say something, to add something to this? No, Shruti only said that you wanted to say something, okay?
Yeah, she's smiling. And this is a very interesting question you've asked, Manish.
No, thank you.
I would like to mention maybe emotional line here. हम उस देश के वासी हैं जहां शादी के बाद पिता से मिलने के लिए भी परमिशन मांगी जाती है. Things are changing. I'm not talking about Delhi, Gurgaon, and few poor families who are living in the tall buildings.
Yeah.
Things are changing, but still, it has not changed much. You can see the pattern, how many women are able to carry forward same friend circle after marriage. And sometimes it is not about husband. Sometimes they also give up. They feel after marriage life is over, they leave. And after some time, they realize in their 40s that, oh my God, what is it that I've done? I should go back. Things are changing. See, it is not about permission sometimes. For example, we need to see availability of each other. Like, for example, I'm inviting my friend. If the person's presence is required, let's ask each other. Let's share with each other. It is not about the permission, what I feel. But in some houses, certainly we have seen this is happening. Okay, but things need to change because it is coming from the culture.
Correct.
तू जाएगी तो तेरी अर्थी वापस आएगी. कहाँ पे हैं हम? कौन से वर्ल्ड में रह रहे हैं हम?
Right.
Please understand, these are unconscious biases.
Absolutely. I agree.
इसीलिए मैं आपको शादी के वचन तक लेकर गई ना. स्टार्टिंग वहीं से होती है.
No. I think you're right. You're very right in this, Aparna. So we are talking about equality. Shruti mentioned about the equality at the home front. where both husband and wife can be equal, should be equal, right? Treated equal. What about the other term in the corporate world, Aparna? Equal opportunity employer. What do you exactly mean by that?
When I think about equality, I first think about equal opportunities. I think we discussed this, that because of the gender, we should not hire, fire, promote, So that is the thing. Opportunity to give me a proper roles. It should not happen that this involves a lot of traveling. How will you be able to do? Ask, don't assume.
Correct.
Another thing is this called equal respect.
Hmm.
Now, respect, I'm not saying Mahilaon ka samman matlab sabka samman. No. We are talking about basic things. When you are greeting each other, when you are addressing in the meetings, are you giving the proper platform to even speak? That is respect. Respect which is received for everyone, right? Proper equal recognition. That is also equally important. Like, for example, if I run my business, people say you're lucky to have a husband like XYZ. Hello, I also have a competence. Of course, when both comes together, men and women, when they work together, I think the magic happens because we are blessed with certain competence, and 1 + 1 is equal to 2 or maybe 11.
11. Yes. True.
Magic happens, certainly. But that does not mean whatever I'm doing in my life is only because I'm lucky to have someone.
Correct. Yeah, that is.
I also have my own battle.
Yeah. No, that is
equal recognition. And another thing is called equal compensation. If you see the survey, still there is a huge disparity as far as pay is concerned. I'm not talking about MNC. Okay, where there is a broadband and everything is done. I'm talking about many other companies, right? And into the bracket, asterisk, I would like to mention, women also need to work on their negotiation skills. Yes. And say that, hey, I work for money. Because I myself conducted the survey of 80 women. Out of 60 women said, I do not work for money. I work for my satisfaction. What kind of question is this? Will you ask this to men? Why do you work? Say that I work for money. Have that positive relationship with wealth.
Absolutely.
So equal respect, equal opportunities, equal recognition, and equal pay. That is equality for me.
Right. Perfect. I think this debate was going on in another industry, which is our topmost industry, Bollywood. Okay, where pay parity is not there. Okay, the hero gets paid more for a role, and for a similar role, the heroine does not get paid. And probably, as you rightly said, Aparna, she doesn't even ask for it. Also, probably, वो negotiate ही नहीं कर पाती शायद, right? Possibly.
But Manish, I don't know how many of us know that as per our constitution, Article 15 and Article 16 allows for opportunities for everybody. So there is prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, gender, sex, and Article 16 provides opportunities in terms of employment. So, not many people know that. Correct. So when we're talking about equal opportunity employment, we are allowed that.
What is it that see around? How many of us have seen constitution? And that's the reason in India, we do not follow law, but we follow social norms very strictly.
Most of us don't even know there's a law. So we don't even follow it. And any which ways we don't follow law. How many of us stop at the red light? That's a very simple law to be followed.
Because they see someone is crossing and they do not see any consequences of it. The same person, if he or she goes in US, will follow. Because they see consequences, they see. And that's why I said, what we see, we follow. We don't follow what is written.
Okay. No, this is very right, and a discussion is wonderful, and we have very less time left, and I want the audience also to ask a question. But before that, just one question which I want to ask Shruti right now, which is you can answer it in maybe a minute or so. Okay. But I'll give you a situation. You have to imagine a situation where we both are working in the same organization as a team, right? And there are other people as well. Now there are two scenarios I'm talking about. Now imagine that I address you while working together on a project, on a common project. I address you as sweetie, for example. Okay, and you address me back as darling. Okay, darling, ऐसा करते हैं, ये होता है. I have seen this personally. That is why I am asking this question also. Or, do you think this is something related to gender bias? Because both people are involved in this, doing the same thing, or only one person, either of them is saying this. Either I said sweetie to you first, or you said darling to me first. Okay. Is this sexual harassment or is it gender bias?
I think Aparna and me can in unison say this. This will come under the purview of POSH.
Is that? Okay.
Aparna?
It totally depends. Again, there are some context to it. First of all, very important. Is there a impact? Is there anyone objecting to that? For example, Manish called me sweetie and I object. I give a written complaint. Then it will fall under POSH. Okay. But I don't object and I'm also saying something in written, then it is a consensual thing. Having said that, is it okay with the company culture? Which is very important. I can give just in 30 seconds a good scenario to you. There was a team of all men led by a lady, and men used to use very abusive words in the organization. And woman was not objecting. So now lady's peer, colleague, he asked, why are you listening to all these things? Why don't you tell them? And she said, they're all men and they feel comfortable working like this. I don't want that female angle to come into the picture. Ultimately, मुझे इन्हीं के साथ काम करना है. But that man went to complain because he said, it is fine with you, but not fine with my organizational health.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You are spoiling the organizational culture, and then it was objected. So what is the object? What is code of conduct is very important. There should not be, I'm working in media company, media mein ye chalta hai. No, what is chalta hai? We have to get over this chalta hai. We have to get over this men will be men. These are all unconsciously we're accepting certain things.
No, the example that I gave was a real life example, Aparna, in one of the media companies that I was attached to. I'm telling you this. It was a TV channel. It was a TV channel. Not if I have to say that it is a media company. Yes, it was.
Yes, it is, because these are the cases I get to hear more from media.
Yeah.
Correct. It happens. It has happened with me. I have seen people working, though I was not a part of their team. Okay, at any point in time, but I was probably either overhearing it or being a part of it on the sidelines. But I heard this. This has happened so many times. And this is probably a culture, as you rightly said. हो सकता है ऐसा हो, company के साथ नहीं चलता है, किसी में चलता है नहीं, whatever.
Manish, it's also about the culture we want to create. Like Aparna said, what is the culture you want to create? Do you want to create a culture where a woman is listening to things because she has to work with certain people? Then where is the limit to that? Tomorrow, if limits are crossed, you will say, I have to work with these men. So everything is okay. So what is the culture that you're trying to create? And that needs to cascade down to the lowest level.
Absolutely.
And this is where I say, the leaders in any organization have it's their responsibility. And they need to take accountability of the fact that this is the culture you are propagating if you are being quiet.
Right.
So in the example where Aparna gave, if a leader is going ahead and making a complaint, very rightfully so, because that is not the culture he wants to create.
Correct. No, I think then it becomes a top-down approach in the organizations that somebody has to lay some norms or some responsibilities that this is the code of conduct that you should follow, and the person at the top, the leader or the management, the senior management, has to actually show it by example and not just by writing it on the policy pages and stuff like that. Isn't it?
Exactly. And that is where it will come down to every person in the system. So while it may start from the top, it may start from what is written, Unless it is implemented by every single person in the system, you will not get the correct culture.
Mhm.
So,
And
that's what culture is about, because where every person is taking accountability.
right. And the laws have to be really strict so that people actually feel the heat of the law. The punishment, the consequences should be felt actually. Otherwise, if it is just like as Aparna said, chalta hai, then if agar chalta hai, to fir wo chalta hi rahega is tarah se. Kabhi
वो
nahi
चलता है तो रेड लाइट क्रॉस करने पे भी चलता है ना.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ, वो चलता ही रहेगा, वो कभी समझ नहीं आएगा किसी को. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. So great. Thank you so much, Aparna and Shruti. Let us see if our audience wants to ask some question. If you want to ask some question, please raise your hand and you can unmute yourself and ask. Anyone? Or is there anyone who wants to ask question? Or shall I pick someone? Okay.
Manish, hi, this is Priya here. I don't have a question here, but I really like this session and I like the examples Shruti and Aparna has put down. So it was right from a very minute thing like, okay, what gift you're going to select for the birthday girl or birthday boy. So that's very common examples what we have. And also one more very good thing what both of them has pointed out is like when we decide, okay, being female, this is what I would not like to do, but it also increases the pressure on the other gender. So it's not just about too much of inclusions leads to exclusions. I really agree that, and it was really a very wonderful discussion and session. So thank you for inviting.
Thank you.
Priya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Please, we have couple of minutes more. We can talk. Okay, I guess nobody. All right. So we will conclude this session here itself, and please allow me to thank both Dr. Aparna Sethi and Shruti Swaroop for spending few minutes with us talking about gender bias, equality, inequality, giving us the insightful information, opening our eyes, giving us the information that we may use, which may be helpful to us going forward in the organization. People who are working in the organization, people who are at home, they can invite their guests, think about it with questions. Okay, but thank you so much, Aparna and Shruti.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish.
Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.